I was having Rico from StreetScores coming with a second video today, and now we have to talk about the Washington Commanders working out an all-pro cornerback after the Ravens loss. Are they seeking a Benjamin St-Juste replacement? Remember, Manuel Forbes played 4 snaps against the Browns and none against the Ravens, and he's fully healthy. We're going to dive into who that all-pro is and if he still has anything left in the tank. Also, the Washington Commanders went ahead and signed an athletic defensive tackle after the Jonathan Allen injury. We're going to break down who he is and what potential he may have to him as well. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all of the content. Again, I'm hitting y'all with 2 videos a day. Even if the second one, you know, this time around, this one came out at 10 p.m., but usually they've been coming out around like 3, 4, or 5 a.m. for my late crowd people. You never know. Maybe I'll do another one late. I'll definitely plan on doing a film session that's exclusive to channel members either later tonight or maybe sometime tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. I really appreciate y'all. You know I will be live streaming the upcoming Panthers game, so make sure you pull up for that. Play-by-play analysis, all 4 quarters, all of that. And let's go ahead and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. Alright, so this all started when Mike Garafolo tweeted the Commanders are signing veteran defensive tackle Carl Davis to the practice squad after he worked out for them today, source says. The former Cowboys lineman reunites with Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. Washington lost defensive tackle Jonathan Allen for the season this week, and I did a whole video breaking down the fact that it's time to look for some talent. Now, in my breakdown of the whole Jonathan Allen injury situation, losing him for the season, I brought up the point that right now on roster, all we have is Johnny Newton, Deron Payne, and Phidarian Mathis. Phidarian Mathis and Johnny Newton, we need y'all to step up. And Deron Payne, we need you to show up. But we need greatness from all 3 guys. But at the same time, you're not going to find a Jonathan Allen replacement just laying around straight off the couch from free agency or wherever from another team's practice squad. You're not going to be able to do that. But everybody just has to move up a spot in the depth chart. And there's not going to be like, it's not like Johnny Newton's going to get all of the snaps that Jonathan Allen left behind. It's going to be split up amongst people. Like Johnny Newton's going to play more. Deron Payne probably will even play more than he usually has been. But Phidarian Mathis is going to play more. But you also need to get a guy that's going to now take Phidarian Mathis' spot from being at the bottom of the defensive tackle depth chart. And so that's what it looks like Carl Davis may be coming here to do exactly just that. Just a quick background real quick. First of all, he's 32 years old. So this is not just some young gun with like a bunch of high potential that's just waiting to be tapped into. He kind of already is what he is, but he's still a very athletic guy. We'll talk about that later. But either way, 32 years old, was originally a 3rd round pick by the Ravens in the 2015 draft out of Iowa. He was in the 3rd year of his 4-year rookie contract when the Ravens waived him back in 2018, so I guess he didn't live up to the expectations that they had for him back then. Davis was then claimed by the Browns off waivers and finished out the year in Cleveland. He had a brief stint with the Colts before the Jaguars signed Davis to their roster in 2019. From there, the Patriots signed him to their active roster in 2020 and re-signed him to a 1-year deal following the offseason, so he must have done something there. Something must have clicked over there. But then he returned on a 1-year deal again in 2022 and 2023, but then was cut coming out of the preseason. So the Patriots saw something in him, and then eventually they were like, maybe it's not what we thought. Davis also had a stint with the Seahawks practice squad before joining the Cowboys last November. This is where that connection to Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. comes from, because he may not be necessarily the most talented guy, but at least he's somewhat familiar with their defensive scheme, again, with them coming from Dallas, him being in Dallas with them, all of that type of stuff. He re-signed with Dallas this past offseason on a 1-year, $1.4 million deal, but was released in August. I mean, that was after Dan Quinn was already here, so maybe Dan Quinn noticed that. Hey, that's one of the guys that we used to coach that was cut back in August. If we ever have an opening for defensive tackle, maybe we'll take a look at him and give him a call and transfer him from the Cowboys to the Commanders. And then in 2023, most recently, Davis appeared in just 3 games for the Cowboys and recorded 3 tackles. That is it. That's literally all he did. Not anything really notable. If you're looking at his Pro Football Focus grades, his highest grade was with New England in 2020, which is why they probably re-signed him to a couple of one-year prove-it deals over and over again to see if they could recreate that 2020 magic. Because he only played 51 total snaps in 2020, and then in 2021 and 2022, he played over 200 snaps each. So I think he got hurt or something like that in that 2020 year. Either way, his Pro Football Focus grade from that year was a 76.8. That's really good. That would make him like a top 20 defensive tackle in the NFL this season if he was playing at that level. But again, he only played 51 snaps. So, you know, it was a very small sample size. And other than that, he hasn't been really good. I mean, 2017, he had a 64.8 Pro Football Focus grade. Other than that, he's pretty much just been in the 40s for the most part. And then like the year after he had his highest grade of 76.8, the year after that, when he played the most snaps he played since all the way back in 2017, he had a 33 Pro Football Focus overall grade, which is not very good. So this is a guy that should not necessarily bring it in to, again, directly replace Jonathan Allen, but at least maybe his familiarity with the defense would allow him to make a smooth transition to where we just need a fourth guy to step in. We just need a body that won't just get bullied and moved out the way and at least understands what this defense does at its very core. Just a quick transition to a guy. Yeah, he may not be the best, but at least he knows what we ask our defensive linemen to do, because he was with us all like the past year and a half, even though he was cut early 2023. And just to let you know, relative athletic score wise, he had an 8.7. So this is a guy that's pretty athletic. His size was like his highest graded thing. It was great at 6'4.5", 320 pounds, and he looked pretty good. He was pretty explosive. He was all right with agility, pretty strong as well, and actually pretty good speed for a guy his size. So there's some athleticism there, but again, it would be different maybe if he were like 25, 26, maybe 27. I'd be like, okay, maybe there's just some of that athletic potential in there that we can tap into that maybe just nobody's been able to scratch yet. Maybe a couple of years under Dan Quinn, maybe like by that second year he'll figure it out. But nah, he's 32 years old, so I don't know how much better he can become all of a sudden. You never know. I'm not just going to completely cross him out of the possibilities of being a good defensive tackle for us, but this is not a guy we're expecting to come in and play a bunch of snaps for us and immediately replace Jonathan Allen's impact at all. I don't really expect anybody on this team to replace Jonathan Allen's impact, because even just schematically, I broke this down in my Jonathan Allen video yesterday, that like, as much as I love Johnny Newton, they're good at different things. So even if Johnny Newton is the best case scenario for what I hope he can be, there's still some things that even that when he's at his best, and he's even if he reaches the Pro Bowl level that I think he can be, there's still certain aspects to his game that would be missing compared to a Jonathan Allen where he's good at other things. I think ultimately Johnny Newton will be like the better pass rusher. He's more explosive. He's quicker off the ball, so he'll be a better penetrator, getting to the quarterback and the running back in the backfield. But if we need a guy to just straight up hold on to a lineman and two gap responsibility type of stuff, where if the running back goes to your right or your left, you have the power and the awareness and IQ and the eyes to make sure, okay, he's going this way, let me get rid of the lineman that way and go make a play this way. That's what Jonathan Allen excels at. And Johnny Newton, I've seen a lot of explosion and quickness from him, but I haven't seen a lot of strength, and I don't really expect him to be able to do something like that. So again, my point is Jonathan Allen will be missed. We're just hoping that Carl Davis can come in and at least make up for the fact that Fadarian Mathis, Johnny Newton, and Daron Payne have to play more. And maybe he can at least go out there and not be useless, not just get moved out the way to where teams are just running the ball towards his gap every time he touches the field. At least just hold it down. When I asking you to go out there and be a Pro Bowler, just hold it down, my boy, please. But right now he's only signed to the practice squad, so we'll see if the Commanders even feel like it's worth it to bring him from the practice squad up to the 53-man roster, the active 53-man roster, to actually even play against the Carolina Panthers. It's got to be somebody. We're more than likely going into that Panthers game with 4 defensive tackles, and as of right now, maybe FL Bada, who's in that 21-day window, that 3-week window. While you're on IR, you're allowed to practice for 21 days before either we got to take you off IR and you take up a 53-man roster spot, or you go to the IR permanently for the rest of the season since y'all playing with us type of thing. You're not about to finesse the NFL in this situation. So maybe it's time for FL Bada to step up. He is a guy that can play both edge rusher and defensive tackle, especially like on obvious passing downs. He could be like somewhat of a more explosive but smaller defensive tackle that can rush the quarterback. So maybe that's the strategy. Maybe those are your 4. Maybe it's Daron Payne, Johnny Newton, Fadarian Mathis, and FL Bada. We'll see. I'm going to keep y'all updated on that because Dan Quinn will speak to the media after we have Wednesday's practice. We'll get injury report, and of course I will update y'all on all the of the injuries and everything like that. Brian Robinson, making sure Noah Brown is still good to go. Cleveland Farrell looks like he should be straight. What's going on with Dorrance Armstrong and Javonte John-Baptiste, all of that type of stuff. Y'all know I'm gonna keep y'all updated on that tomorrow, as in Wednesday, October 16th. Also, along with Carl Davis, who we worked out today and they ended up signing them to the practice squad, there were 4 other players there at the workout, all corners and defensive tackles, mind you, just to let you know what state we're in right now as a team. Out of all position groups in the NFL, we brought in 5 guys to work out, 2 corners and 3 defensive tackles. We signed 1 to the practice squad. We'll see what happens with the others. But the names are cornerback Kyle Fuller. You have cornerback Michael Ojemudia. I hope that's how you pronounce that last name. I was not ready for that. And then you have defensive tackle Deadrin Senat, I hope. And then you have defensive tackle Jonathan Marshall. And automatically, the first name that pops off the list, the household name that you're like, oh, wow, him over there, the all-pro Kyle Fuller? You mean Kendall Fuller's brother, Kyle Fuller? Remember, he was first team all-pro in 2018, first team all-pro. The last time he played, though, was in 2022 with the Ravens, and that does need to be emphasized. So, my point is, does Kyle Fuller still have anything left in the tank? Does he still have anything left in him that can improve this secondary? Because that's the most important part. It's not, can he play at an all-pro level? The point is, can he be better than what we currently have in the cornerback group? We're going to get to that, especially we're going to look at what we have currently in the cornerback group towards like way later in the video. We'll get there though. At first, we got to focus on Kyle Fuller, where he is right now. Well, first of all, his all-pro season was, of course, his highest graded season according to Pro Football Focus. He had an 83 grade then, with an 84.1 coverage grade. That is elite stuff. If that was like, if he played at that level this year, he would be a top 10 corner in the NFL right now. That's great stuff right there. And he was first team all-pro, which means that according to the NFL, he was literally the best corner in the NFL that year. Either way though, outside of that, I mean, it's pretty much like a mountain peak. Like his rookie season, it was bad, apparently, 47.7 grade, and then it went to a 70, 77, 83. And then from there, it just goes down, 62, 64, kind of like right there, 47, and then like kind of 53, but still it looks like a mountain, basically. It's a mountain range with like a couple of little hills at the bottom on the sides a little bit. And so that should just tell you that like maybe him getting older, he started to decline. Maybe as a rookie, it took him a while to adjust to NFL level. Then he figured it out, and then shortly after that, he started to decline, just due to age catching up with him, because right now he is 32 years old. This is not a young gun right here, but maybe he still has something left in the tank. They're 32 years old though. It's kind of up there. It's ironic that both of the guys that we're talking about today happen to both be the same age, the exact same age of 32 years old, but we'll see what happens here. At the same time, Carl Davis never played at the same level that a Kyle Fuller played at when he was in his prime. Carl Davis's prime was not to the level of Kyle Fuller's prime. I mean, back in 2018, at a certain point in that season, no, this was actually 2017. This was actually a tweet by Pro Football Focus in March of 2018 from what happened throughout the entire 2017 season. So even the season that he wasn't voted first team All-Pro, he was voted first team All-Pro the season after this. But look at this graphic right here. This man was the best corner in the entire NFL in 2017, according to this stat, as far as when he's targeted, how often he allows guys to catch the ball. The only people that were even in his stratosphere were James Bradbury when he was playing at a high level, Darius Slay when he was with the Lions playing at a high level, Trey Waynes, I remember him, and Adoree Jackson when he used to play at a high level for the Tennessee Titans for like a short stint. And then after that, he kind of fell off, and same thing with James Bradbury. And you could even make the argument for Darius Slay now that he's getting older. Really, none of the corners left here are playing at a high level anymore. That's actually kind of crazy how quickly the cornerback market can change. That's really crazy when you think about it. Like literally the most productive corners of the 2017 season, none of them are playing well right now. You know, Darius Slay is the only one that's actually playing like meaningful starting level minutes, and even he's been getting toasted. And I know Eagles fans are really upset with him for complimenting Jaden Daniels. Then while they were playing against the Buccaneers and they were losing, he was walking up to Mike Evans and having like fun chats with them and things like that. So that graphic is insane. Moving on, and shouts out to this Bears fan because he tweeted earlier today that he was one of the most underrated corners in the NFL, as in Kyle Fuller, in his prime. 2017 to 2020, Kyle Fuller would have done numbers with this current Chicago Bears defense. Still remember that monster hit he had versus the Bucs a few years ago. And basically he's saying like, man, I mean, if you could surround him with good defensive pieces, because when he was great, it wasn't even that great of a defense around him as a whole. Now the Bears defense, and I'm hoping that you know, if you see the vision, maybe this Commanders defense can be the same way, even though we're not to the level of the Bears defense right now. The Bears are playing like an elite defense right now, which is going to make that matchup against Caleb Williams very interesting. But my point is that he was playing at an all-pro level even when the defensive players around him weren't necessarily that great. And his point is, if he can go to a defense where all he has to do is just do his job and the pieces around him are really good, that guy can really perform potentially. That's his point. In theory, I hope that would work. Maybe if we were to sign him to the active squad and he would actually go out there and play for us on Sundays, maybe like Frankie Louvu being the linebackers, we have a pretty good safety duo in Quan Martin and Jeremy Chin, maybe it could work. But he did end up getting cut in 2021, and just to let you know, it was to save cap space though, because their season was already going down the drain at that point, and they were just basically looking for ways to save money. So maybe he's not that much of a shell of himself, but then at the same time, maybe he is. I mean, if you're willing to cut him and make him a cap casualty to save money, maybe he just wasn't that good in the first place, and it's just like, well, why not save money here, you know? But either way, it's just the fact that he's even available right now and not even on the NFL roster right now, where it's like, I mean, there are a lot of teams out there that need corners, and the fact that he's still available and we worked him out and we still didn't sign him yet, maybe he doesn't have anything left in the tank. And you can't even say that like Kyle Fuller doesn't want to be on the NFL roster right now, because he just came over for a workout with a group of names that I don't even recognize outside of his. His name was the only one that popped off the list, honestly. So he's definitely looking for a cornerback opportunity, but teams just aren't giving it to him, and maybe there is a reason behind that. I also do want to point out the fact that he suffered a torn ACL in September of 2022 and had to miss the entire season because of it. So this is a guy not only getting up there in age, and even before the injury was starting to stumble a little bit with his production, but then even, I mean, especially the fact that after a torn ACL, how good can he still be? But to be completely honest, at the end of the day, he does not have to be even his all-pro version of himself. I'm not even trying to provide that argument at all. He just simply needs to be better than what we currently have on this roster. Like, if we're losing games and this looked like a typical rebuild right now, we weren't 4-2, then I would say 100% play the younger guys. Throw them out there to the wolves constantly every week. Don't even bring in a random veteran for no reason to stifle their development. Let them learn on the job, and maybe we would be worse on the field wise because of it, but it could pay dividends in the long run as they develop at a quicker rate, because they're getting the meaningful game time experience that they're gaining and the hard lessons that they're learning from getting burned every week. But this situation, you know, this may not necessarily be a situation. I mean, I would like for the younger guys to keep playing and get better, but at a certain point, man, we may be trying to actually do something this year. We may want to go ahead and try to fix some of the holes in the secondary right now so we can compete this year and see how far this thing can go in year one. I'm not saying Kyle Fuller's the answer. I'm just talking about the logic of why you even bring in Kyle Fuller for a workout. I mean, don't necessarily throw away a bunch of draft picks to acquire veteran talent and go all eggs in one basket for just this season alone. You don't have to mortgage your future for the benefit of the present, but you can definitely comb through the list of available free agents out there, maybe some guys that are on other teams' practice squads, to see just if anybody can at the very least be an improvement over what we have right now. That's my emphasis. Can anybody just marginally be better than what we are currently throwing out there right now? Which takes me to the point, how do our corners look so far this year? Well, Mike Sanford still is the highest graded corner we have on roster right now, with a 60 overall grade, a 60.8 coverage grade, both highs for the entire team. He's ranked 69th out of 102 qualified corners in the NFL right now. Then you have Benjamin St-Juste. He's ranked 82nd, and Noah Igbinoghene ranked 91st. Right now, our cornerback group isn't looking too special, too good. Now, they are improving, other than Benjamin St-Juste, who got torn up by Zay Flowers, but a lot of corners in the NFL would get torn up by Zay Flowers. That's a bad matchup. Benjamin St-Juste should be assigned to bigger receivers that aren't as quick and fast. He should be covering A.J. Brown, not Devonta Smith. Remember how he locked up A.J. Brown just a couple of years ago? Was that last year or something like that? Like, he can always, you can get that out of him as long as the guy isn't just extremely shifty and fast. But, I mean, matching him up against Zay Flowers, we already knew what we was getting into. But then again, any corner we had on our roster was going to get killed by Zay Flowers all day. So it wasn't even just a Benjamin St-Juste problem. He was just the only one they even tried to get to cover Zay Flowers all day. So I know we point a lot of our hate towards Benjamin St-Juste, but honestly, any of the corners that we currently have on roster probably would have got burnt up the same way. Mike Sanford still maybe gave us a slightly slightly better chance, but because he's younger, maybe they didn't trust him to do that yet. Either way, my point is we probably need outside corner help because we don't have anybody on the roster that really could have prevented Zay Flowers from getting 9 yards and like 100 and what do you have, like 139, 132 yards, 9 targets, 9 catches. That's even more impressive than the 132 yards in my opinion. That's insane. So my point is, if you want to try and pull a 2023 Houston Texans, you may want to at least sign a trade for one guy. And I'm not saying Kyle Fuller is the savior, but he may at least be a slight upgrade over what we have right now. If we are really following the Texans blueprint, honestly, you can really just wait until the offseason to make huge moves. The moves that a lot of people want right now. Like, I really want us to trade for J.C. Horn, but maybe they wait for stuff like that until the offseason because the Houston Texans specifically didn't make any dramatic changes really during the 2023 season. But then in the spring after that season to load up for the 2024 season, that's when they went and got Daniil Hunter and Stephon Diggs to take them over the top. So if we're following their blueprint exactly, that's the way that you do it. But maybe Adam Peters is not following their blueprint. Maybe he is ready to load up. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes to where he's ready to go crazy and pull off some ridiculous moves before this trade deadline to try to turn us into a definitive Super Bowl contender. But we'll see how that goes, man. Maybe, maybe not. Again, like I always say, like I said in my video earlier, in Adam Peters I trust. So whether he does make a move, whether he doesn't, if we're buyers, sellers, or if we're just sitting on our hands, either way, I'm going to assume it's the right move because he hasn't missed yet. My point is, it's not even just Kyle Fuller. Treat Kyle Fuller as like a symbolism for like the logo of we need cornerback help right now. Maybe it's even bringing him in the other corner, whose last name I can't exactly pronounce, but his name, Michael O. Maybe they're bringing him in to send a message to the other corners on the team. Hey, you better step it up because we are shopping and looking for replacements right now if y'all don't get it together. Maybe it's just that simple. But even outside of that, again, this whole situation shows me we are looking for corners. Now, I'm not saying that we're necessarily going to go and trade for a J.C. Horn or a Greg Newsome or Denzel Ward, both of the Browns or anything like that. But this shows that, again, the answer may not necessarily be Kyle Fuller. Again, just treat him as the mascot for the situation that we're in. We are looking for corner help. We're, of course, looking for defensive tackle help because of the Jonathan Allen issue of injury, but that was obvious. Cornerback help, they're showing you without an injury to the corners at all that we are looking for better corners out there right now. We're just giving guys workouts at least to see what may even just be available out there. But just as a heads up, again, to remind you, the workout already happened. And out of the 5 guys, the only one they signed was not Kyle Fuller. It was Carl Davis. So maybe they aren't interested in Kyle Fuller. Maybe his workout didn't go so well. Maybe he doesn't have anything left in the tank. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinion video just like this one. Please do not leave this video without leaving a like. Y'all don't understand, man. It's free for y'all and it means the world to me. So please stiff arm that like button. And of course, definitely let me know in the comment section how you feel about both of these major situations. How do you feel about the Carl Davis signing? How do you feel like he'll be able to impact the game in any way? Do you feel like he's going to play as soon as like this upcoming Panthers game? Or this is somebody who's just simply on the practice squad to hold a spot? Who knows? Also, let me know about the Kyle Fuller situation. Do you want to sign Kyle Fuller to a very cheap, like 1-year veteran minimum type of deal just to see if he still has anything left in the tank? Or are you like me and you're like, man, let's just go ahead and trade for J.C. Horn or Denzel Ward or Greg Newsome, maybe even both of those Browns corners at this point, man. Let me know how y'all feel about this cornerback situation. If you feel like Kyle Fuller can be at least one solution to the major problem we have in the secondary right now, let me know how you feel about all of that. I really appreciate y'all. Again, I'm gonna try my best to read and reply to as many comments as possible. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.